Alright, so with Flash open, we're going to go ahead and create a new Actionscript 3 file. What we'll be working on today is doing the things that we talked about. Since we're creating this book, we'll make a kind of a subtle animation. I'm going to have a bird flying in and just kind of sitting at one point. And then when you click on it, we can make the bird tweet or do whatever. But we're going to work on that so that in your book you can have some interactivity with it. So go ahead and rename layer 1 to bird. And go ahead and grab your brush tool, which is B on your keyboard, and draw some awesome bird. This is always the best part of the class, we get to draw something. It's a bird.
It's legitimately.
Because it has a beak.
Flying, we're okay.
Either that or it's a penguin. There we go. So now it's a flying bird. All right. So everybody should have somewhat of a bird. If you don't, you're trying too hard. Because really, we're not going to make this do much. Typically, you know, if you have a bird, you'd go through and make a movie clip inside of a movie clip, make the wings move and all of that. That would take too long for this tutorial here. So go ahead and just with your bird, however it looks right now, select the entire bird and hit F8 on your keyboard. We're going to turn it into a movie clip, and I'm going to preface my movie clip with MC_bird.
What's MC stand for?
Movie clip. This is that naming convention I talk about every once in a while. Every time I create a movie clip, I use MC_. If it's a button, it's BT_.
Is the symbol S1?
Sure.
Doesn't matter.
Everything's a symbol, whether it's a button or a movie clip. Yeah. So MC_bird is the name of the movie clip, and you should have something that looks somewhat like a bird. It doesn't really have to be. It could be anything. And before I forget, since we are going to be using Actionscript to control this bird, come up to your properties window after you've created your movie clip and clicked on your movie clip. Come up here and give it the instance name of MC_bird. And then go ahead and move your bird off to the side of your stage here so that it's on the outside. And the first thing we're going to do is animate it and just have it flying in, except the wings aren't going to be moving because we're not going to spend any time on it. We're going to have it flying in and landing on a post. So let me create a new layer so I can draw a post real quick and have that layer be underneath the bird. And there's a post. Okay. All right. So we have our bird. We have a post. Let's go ahead and make the bird fly to the post to start with. So I'm going to right-click on my bird movie clip and say create motion tween. And if you'll recall, when you do that, your post disappears. So let's go down to frame 24 on our post layer and hit F5 to extend those frames out. Again, there's no reason to create a to hit F6 to create a new keyframe because our post is not moving. So right now we've got our bird with a motion tween put on it, and on frame 24 I'm going to move my bird from its current location to the post. So you should have hover bird going to the post. Okay, so we've got our bird moving to the post. Now what we want to do is we'll go ahead and put a stop action script. So go ahead and create a new layer on your main scene here. Call mine AS for ActionScript. And if you'll recall, if you wanted to stop at frame 24, you'd need to put a keyframe at frame 24 for it to stop there. So on that ActionScript layer, go ahead and hit F6 on your keyboard. And then hit F9 to pull up your Actions panel. And we're just going to write a simple stop action script. All right, so what you should have right now, if you test your movie, hitting Control Enter. Hello, movie. There it is. Hitting Control Enter, you should have your bird hovering over to the post and stopping. Everybody has that? Good. All right. So the next thing we want to do is, if we go over and click on this bird, let's make it do something. I'm going to make it say tweet or something like that. But to do that, we need to go inside of our bird movie clip to give it kind of a second state. Kind of like when you create a button, you have your overstate and all of that. We're doing something similar to that, except we're doing it inside of a movie clip, so it gives us more control.
It'd be better to put everything into a movie clip if we want, like.
Typically,
Okay.
yeah. When we used to have an advanced Flash class, everything was created out of a movie clip. We didn't use buttons anymore. So let me double click on this bird here. And we're inside of the MC_bird. I'm going to rename layer 1 to bird again. And let's go ahead and create a new layer for our bird that we click on. I'll call the layer bird click. And another layer for ActionScript, because we will need some ActionScript inside of here as well. So on our bird click layer, I'm going to go ahead and I'll add a new keyframe at frame 5. And let me go back to frame 1 of the bird layer and copy my bird. So select it all and hit Control C. Then we'll go over to frame 5 and hit Control Shift V. That'll paste it in place so it's the exact same location. And I could have put this in frame 2. It would have kind of given me the same thing. I'm just going to move it from frame 1 to whatever the next frame is that we're using. But I like to put it on intervals of 5 just to give it a little more space. It looks nicer. So on frame 5 here, go down to your bird and make it do something. So I'm going to bring my wings down. I'm using my sub-selection tool here, which is A on your keyboard. Gives you a little more control over the paths. So I'll bring my wings down. I'm going to put in some text here. Yeah. All right. So I've got a real simple wings come down. He says squawk. Super exciting. And I want that to last for at least a few frames before I go back to frame 1. So I'm going to insert a few frames here. I'm just going to hop over to 10 and hit F5 on my bird click layer. That way when you click on it, it goes from here to squawk and then back to frame 1. But to make sure that when my bird lands, it stops on this Actionscript layer, I'm going to go to the Actionscript layer on frame 1 and hit F9. Again, this is inside of the MC_bird movie clip. And I'll hit stop there.
It's not doing it.
It's not doing what?
It's not bringing up the bird sitting with the tweet.
When you test it? Right, it's not going to yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you test it, it's going to, the bird's going to come and land, and it's not going to do anything yet because we haven't added any more Actionscript to it. It should stop on that first frame and not do anything. So now what we need to do is go back to scene 1. And on the first frame of our Actionscript layer, we're going to add Actionscript that when you click on this bird, it's going to send it to frame 5 and play out. So pull up your Actions panel. Again, we're back at scene 1 on the Actionscript layer on frame 1. And we're just going to set up an event listener just like we've done with everything else. So I'll say movie clip _bird dot add event listener. It's going to be a mouse event on click. Again, click is all caps. And let me get some more room here. Let's create the function squawk, or call it whatever you made your bird. It can be tweet. So we'll set up our function of squawk. And that is a mouse event. We'll say MC_bird dot go to and play 5. Years and years of doing it every day of my life.
Okay, maybe you can explain why some of these things have uppercase and lowercase, because that's the problem I seem to be
Yes. The explanation of why some of these have uppercase and lowercase is because the developers created it that way.
Well, when you say it that way,
Exactly.
it makes sense.
Have you heard of camel casing?
No.
Okay. Inside of coding, and don't write this right now, whenever you're developing HTML, CSS, anything like that, there's different ways that you can write your code. One way would be using an underscore in between words. Let's start at the basics, I guess. One way would be going through and just typing it all out lowercase. So if I say go to and play. That works, except it's kind of hard to see. Like if you've never seen this code before, you're looking it over, it all blends together, right? Another way of going about this is saying go to underscore and underscore play, but going up and hitting that underscore over and over again is difficult. You have go to hyphen and hyphen play. It's still kind of difficult, and also when you double click on this, it only selects one part of it at a time. Now the underscore works when you double click on it, it selects the whole thing. So if I needed to change it, I could easily do that. Another way is doing camel casing. So go to is actually one word for some reason, capital, and it's a lot quicker to type. It's easier to type, and of course you double click it, it works.
Okay.
Now, some of the things that kind of break that is you have the mouse event, which starts with a capital. Those are the things in this dot click, it's all caps. Whereas like mouse event dot, no, I think actually mouse over is like that. Some of it's just annoying and different.
So you use that one, right, mouse over, just when you put the mouse over it, it does something?
Yes, yeah. And you can actually, there's a way to view those. Like if I'm writing this mouse event dot, you see this pop-up menu that comes up.
Mm-hmm.
You can see everything that's available for it. So I can actually tell you the reason they use underscores here is because it's all caps, and that's the only way to separate it. But to me, I don't know why they didn't do camel casing for this. It seems like it would have been logical. I don't work for Adobe, so I have no idea.
You didn't write Flash.
I didn't write Flash. If I did, I wouldn't be here. No, I would, because I love you guys. So anyways, function squawk, movie clip bird, now go to and play 5. So if I were to test that right now, my bird's going to come and land, and then if I were to come over here and click on my bird, and go squawk. So it just gives you, a little more interactivity. If any of y'all are doing any like farm animal books for your final, anything like that, you can have go and click the pig or something. Or you can just use this to create an Easter egg and do something dumb with it. It kind of depends on what you want to do. Yeah. And as you can see, sky's kind of the limit with what you can do with it. If you wanted to go in and start it at frame 5 and make them fly around a little bit, you could do that. If you wanted to make it when you click it, a shotgun shell went and got him and he fell over. Like Duck Hunt, you could go through and do that. So there's a bunch of different things you can do with this, but that's kind of the basic functionality of it.